Hey crafty people, it's Tasha. Welcome to my channel. I'm guesting for the lovely ladies over at Craft and Connect this month, and our challenge is all about stencils. So I'm sharing this technique for using your stencil to essentially create a mask for your background. Best thing is that you get 2 cards for 1, so let's go. Diving right in, I've got this Hero Art stencil on a panel of watercolour cardstock secured in place from behind with some low-tack tape. Now you could use a whole range of products to create your mask, and it really depends what effect you want to give off. If you want it to be more subtle, you could use clear embossing or a white texture paste even. But I'm feeling a bit more luxe today, so I've gone for the gold hero paste. I always like to give my pastes a quick mix before use, just to be sure that they haven't separated or got any hard bits in. Then I'm laying some down on one edge of my stencil so that I can spread that across with my stencil pal. This is a super handy tool because it's wide enough to cover the whole panel in one go. I can go over it a few times just to make sure that I've got a really nice even coverage across the whole panel. So back to the technique. I'm using paste through my stencil first, then once that dries it's going to resist watercolour, ink or any of those kind of mediums that I might put on top. With this gold, it's really obvious that there's a paste there, but if you did go for something clear or matte even, you'd have a really cool masked effect. Always putting that leftover paste back into the tub, waste not, want not after all. Quick tip here, I like to cut a square of press and seal and put that onto my pastes once I've opened them. But I make sure to press it down to where the paste is actually sitting. This way you're not trapping a block of air in the container with your paste. I always cut the piece too big so that it can be used for all the way down the tub. Then I just screw the lid back on with that press and seal hanging out, and then that being twisted into the lid seals it all up really well. Time to peel and reveal, and that gold paste really is stunning. I'll set that aside to fully dry, and the shine from this paste really is something else. Now I've got a rainbow of reactive inks ready to create that gorgeous resist background. I'm pressing each ink pad onto my glass mat because I'm just using it as a makeshift palette where I can pick up the colour as I'm making my beautiful rainbow. To help the colours blend better, I'm spritzing the whole panel with some clean, clear water, and because yellow can really easily get overtaken by other colours, I'm going to start with that diagonally over roughly the middle. I promise you there's no special technique or skill that I'm using here. I just chose a rainbow of colours and I'm adding them to my panel one at a time, just wet ink onto a wet panel. I like to work up through my warms, giving my brush a quick rinse between colours. Then I can work on the cool side. Now I did find that my green kind of overtook the blue to give me more of a teal shade, which is gorgeous, but I really did want some of that true blue, so I also added a slightly darker shade. Then I moved the purple round to the other side to finish up my rainbow, or start. If you know me, you'll know that I always love a rainbow. But during June especially, I do love to show my pride. So expect even more rainbows from me. But I also wanted to highlight some other pride flags too this month. If that's not something that you can support, then I kindly ask you to just move on to another video. Please don't leave any nasty comments, as I will be deleting them. I'm sharing my pride, but I'm also going to fiercely guard my own mental well-being. Now that my rainbow is complete, I'm setting it aside to dry fully, and with the magic of video editing, here it is. I love how it turned out. So I created 2 cards with my finished panel. I die cut one of the pointed arches from Hero Arts, and I used the positive piece for this first card. I used a sentiment from one of the Hero Arts and Ralph Tyndall sets, which I just absolutely love. I actually gave my hubby this card for our 13th wedding anniversary. Then I didn't want any of it to go to waste, so I added the negative piece onto an A2 panel of glossy black cardstock. Then I added a die cut sentiment with one of my fab foiler strips as a sub-sentiment and these gorgeous bubble embellishments. So these are my first 2 card entries for this month's inspiration challenge over at Craft and Connect. I've got even more inspiration prepped for later in the month, but we'd also love to see what you guys can come up with using your stencil stash. The blog post for this month's challenge is linked in the description box below, along with a full supplies list. I also have a visual supplies list over on my blog if you are after any specific thing that I've used today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a lovely, happy, safe and wonderful week. Stay crafty. Bye.